Welcome to Inside Your County Government. I'm your host and community engagement coordinator, Doria Fleischer. We are back with another episode where you can meet your departments. So excited to have Kelly Robertson-Slagle from our Economic Development Department here today. Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to work with you today.
I'm always excited to work with you. You always bring so much energy and a feeling of, okay, Charles County, we've got this to the room. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to do a really big overview today. So the point of this episode is to either introduce people to the different departments we have in Charles County government, to reacquaint them if they've kind of lost touch, or for people who know all about us, just to kind of remind this is what we do and we want you to share the word. So please don't feel like you need to take any deep dives. We can always come back and do more episodes if there's a topic that you think people want to know about. It's really just a chance to talk about what economic development is. And I'm going to call you economic development, or what acronym are we using? Are we saying EDD?
EDD is fine, or economic development. Either one, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, so here's to the Economic Development Department. I got to spit it all out in Charles County. Kelly, start please by telling us about who you are, what you do, how you got here, kind of the overview of our leadership.
Great, thank you. I am seventh generation Charles County. Very proud Charles Countian, come from a family of business owners. So I grew up in a local business, and I think that kind of directed me down the path of economic development. I am just wrapping up my 27th year. Hard to believe.
It's impressive.
Feels like I just started yesterday. 27th year in the economic development industry. And my background, I've really worked throughout the region. But just recently, about a year and a half ago, had the good fortune to come and be the economic development director in my home county. And I just can't tell you how excited I am about the opportunity that was presented to me. And I'm really excited about the future and some of the initiatives that we have within our department. I think I bring a unique perspective because I did grow up in a local business. My grandparents, as well as my parents, owned and operated businesses with as many as 100 employees. So I knew what some of those challenges were, and that kind of fuels my passion to work with the existing business community to kind of help them address some of those challenges. And people will hear me say, sometimes the challenge isn't always negative, sometimes it's positive, but it still needs to be addressed. And that's the unique thing about economic development. We're uniquely positioned to sit down, ask those key questions, and be able to get to the root of the problem, and then be able to connect those resources to, give them the background and the education for them to make the decision, find a solution and move forward, and continue to grow.
Not every business is going to have the same solution.
Exactly.
But you can just sit down and kind of help them navigate the process.
Absolutely. No 2 days are the same in economic development. I can promise you that. I have learned that over the last 27 years.
I would assume so. And I'm curious, what is, and this is such a huge question to ask, so I'm going to put you on the spot to answer it in a manageable way. What's the biggest change from 27 years ago to now?
Wow.
In economic development?
I would say, goodness, I think the core business, the core, ABCs, I'll say, of business operations have not changed. That has not changed. But the surrounding economics and the customers and, just the economy in general has very much changed. And to some extent, the political environment and regulations have changed. New environmental regulations and things like that have certainly come to the forefront versus 27 years ago. But what I can tell you is, being able, I try to find the positive in everything. Right. It certainly was emotional and challenging, but going through things like the La Plata tornado and working with the local business community, Hurricane Isabel, and working with the local business community, and certainly COVID, and hand-holding and working through, and even crying, because it was emotional. Right. We had some, almost like, hugging and crying, getting through, because it was very impactful. Right. Taught me so much as an economic developer. I've always been empathetic, but really raw emotions and really wanting to help and move people forward. So fires. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've pretty much dealt with, I'm going to say every situation, but a lot of situations, and all of that has taught me so much. So whatever is to come, I feel like we're prepared. I'm prepared, and I'm prepared to work with my team and get them in a good space to be able to assist in the best way that we can.
Awesome. Yeah, I think sometimes those our hardest moments are what then defines us or what helps us move forward and grow.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about you. Tell us about the Economic Development Department. So when we say that department, who are the teams? Who are the divisions? What does that include?
Oh, we have a fantastic team. I love talking about our team. A group, I mean, we're small but mighty. We're 11, hopefully getting ready to be 12 on our team, but very mighty. Very knowledgeable, many years of experience, several certifications, so a real knowledgeable group, and have a real passion for what they do.
And how are those people divided? How do you make up economic development?
So we are divided into 3 different, I'll call them divisions. Again, we're a small department, so we don't technically have divisions, but for explanation today, we'll do that. So first and foremost, we have our existing business services division, and those folks are dedicated to working with our existing business community, those that are open and operational right now, today. Meeting with them one-on-one, helping to address their issues, educating them, helping them navigate and move forward and be successful in our community.
Okay.
Underneath of that is our small and minority business programming, which we do have some certifications. Also, our recent disparity study and the implementation of that falls underneath of that department. And we're very excited. We'll definitely do another session on that.
Gotcha.
Deep
Good.
dive on that particular one. Our international business, which is something that we're really starting to kick off, educating our local businesses about some international opportunities, also falls within that division. Moving over to our commercial development, that's where we do a lot of recruitment.
Okay.
And letting folks know Charles County is a great place to do business. Really going after our targeted industries, what is appropriate for Charles County. Some businesses, some industries, we get RFPs all the time, just are not appropriate for our community, and we recognize that.
So I'm going to pause you for just a sec, Kelly, and try to break some of this down. So when we talk about that recruitment, that's you as economic development saying to industries and businesses, not the individual people, but the business, we want you to come and set up shop in Charles County.
Absolutely.
And when you use that expression RFP, that stands for?
RFP is where request for proposal. So site selection organizations will reach out to a targeted area, and most of the time it's the state of Maryland because they want to be somewhere on the East Coast or within proximity to DC or Baltimore. And they will put an RFP out requesting information about available sites. And then we respond to that. And it's a competition at that point. So we try to put our best foot forward and what makes our community unique and different, quality of life, education, things along those lines.
Excellent.
But it's important to note that we don't respond to all RFPs. Some industries are just not appropriate for Charles County. So we really look, and we're very selective because we want to make sure that it complements what we currently have. Another thing is retail, grocery stores, things like that. We don't traditionally recruit retail. Retail comes on its own based on our demographics. That being said, high-end grocery stores, that is something that we have been actively working with our larger developers to do a level of recruitment to be able to get something like that
I know
here
that's
in the
something
community.
that our community asks about a lot. So that's the economic development department, yeah?
Yes.
Beautiful.
One more.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Marketing. We do have marketing. I apologize. That's our website, our social media presence, those sorts of things. They certainly help us in promoting not just our programming that we have for our existing business community, but also promoting the county to outside those site selectors and things like that. So
it sounds like you have a really great team that's doing so much work all around. Beautiful. So what's exciting that's going on in economic development, Kelly? What's the kind of fun projects, fun initiatives, exciting news for your staff? What should we know about?
Great. Thank you for that question. We actually have a ton of stuff going on, but I'll highlight two for this, and we can certainly come back and talk about some of the other exciting things for another session.
Great.
But the first one I wanted to mention is our Business Growth Advantage program. This has been a fantastic program, and it is ongoing. It was, I'll say, an investment from the ARPA or the COVID funds that the county received. That we were able to invest in this program. And basically what it is, it's an 8-week program. There is an application process for our local existing businesses to apply for. It is 8 weeks of, I'll say intensive, but at the same time, helpful and facilitated. So I don't want people to get scared of just a deep dive into your business operations.
Okay.
Looking at financials, looking at cost of goods, looking at your marketing, looking at your business development, those things that sometimes businesses just don't have time to focus on, but are so important because they are the core to a successful business.
Right.
And the great thing is, again, 8 weeks, once a week, virtual in the evening, so you got to dedicate the time to do it.
Right.
But at the end of the session, if you've completed all of the requirements, we have a fantastic, really special graduation ceremony for everybody. But the best part is you get a $10,000 grant from the county to implement those lessons that you learned during the 8 weeks. So it is truly a win-win.
That's
Absolutely
wonderful.
a win-win. And we've just approved a couple more cohorts.
Great.
We are on cohort, I believe we're graduating cohort number 7 next week, which will get I call them alumni. We're really proud of them, which gets our alumni up to about 70 businesses that have graduated from this program. So if you're interested, definitely go to the meetcharlescounty.com website and hit on Business Growth Advantage program and check it out. And I encourage anybody and everybody to apply who is interested. If we can't get you in on the next cohort, we put you on a waiting list for the following one. So we're really trying to get as many through that program. So that's one. The other one I wanted to mention is for the first time in Charles County's history, our team has participated in the Select USA conference, which is held, or which traditionally is held at the Gaylord Hotel in National Harbor. And it is the world's largest foreign direct investment conference.
Okay.
And we are there among the state of Maryland, among states from all over the country, larger jurisdictions, promoting Charles County as a great place for foreign direct investment, which means business owners, really smart investors that are international, that are looking for investments in the United States. So this is it's really, like I said, it's the first time that Charles County has participated, but it's really a key piece to our international programming, which we are setting up. So we're very excited about what opportunities that's going to bring to our local economy and our local business community.
This is some exciting stuff. And definitely I'm hearing a lot of things we could deep dive into.
Oh, absolutely.
So we'll definitely have you back in studio, Kelly.
Yeah.
So that's all the good, exciting stuff. Tell us about some of the challenges. And I laugh because when I've interviewed you before, watched you present before, I think you call these the things that keep you up at night.
Absolutely.
Yes, these are the ones that. So tell us a little bit about what the struggles in economic development are right now, and what's keeping our community as a challenge.
Great question. And, I talked a little bit earlier about, the empathy that's required.
Right.
So there are definitely some things that keep me and keep the team up at night, trying to come up with the best solutions that we can. I would say still at the forefront, even though we have moved forward, the community is doing very well. We have implemented in like the BGAP and other programs, some really intensive support services. But I'll be honest, COVID and what that impact that happened internationally, and I mean, not just in our community, that is still very much in the forefront of my mind, or something similar to it. I do think that if something similar comes back around, we're better prepared this time. to really rally and be at the forefront. I like to say economic development is the 911 for the business community.
Right.
We are the first responders of the business community, similar to what fire and EMS and rescue and that sort of thing is for our citizens. So that certainly is still very much at the forefront of my mind.
Right.
Other things is, just the economy right now in general. You can't turn on the television without hearing about, are we in a recession or are we getting ready to go into a recession?
Right.
Regardless, it's impacting. It's impacting the cost of goods, transportation. I mean, I'm feeling it in my own personal back pocket and what, how everything costs. So just making sure that our business community, again, knows how to reach out to us if they're facing any challenge. We'd rather hear about it early than hear about it late.
It's interesting that you say that because another one of our Meet the Departments episodes is with community services, and they kind of do the same thing for individual people that you all do for businesses. And it was the same comment that we need people, we have these services in Charles County government. Reach out before you think it's an emergency. Reach out when you have the time and the energy to get these resources so that we can get them into your hands as an individual or as a business owner.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to make sure that the audience fully understands is any conversation that we have with our local business community is 100% confidential.
Okay.
So, I know some are, I don't want to go in and talk to government because I'm nervous. We need to have that open rapport to truly understand what the core of the problem is to be able to provide our best resources. So know that it is absolutely 100% confidential. With that. The other, our banking industry, again, you hear the news about larger banks that are having some challenges. That absolutely has a trickle-down effect as well. So we just hosted a bankers forum, and we do plan on, continuing to do some other, whether it be virtual or in person, bankers financing type events. We'll continue to do that throughout the year to introduce our local businesses to other financing opportunities. Just again, educating them about what's available to them, so that way they can make the best business decision, be able to move forward.
I love that you have that role of kind of connecting some dots and helping people see what's available.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Okay, so if somebody is thinking, oh my gosh, I want to know more about economic development. I want to get more involved. This is actually really, really cool. How can they do that? Where do we send them? How do you connect to economic development?
Great question. And it's so important for those to connect to us. There's a couple different ways that folks are able to connect to us. I always recommend folks to go to our meetcharlescounty.com website. Okay. There is a ton of information, including our contact information, that is on there. I really want folks to educate themselves, and they can take a little bit of a deeper dive into each one of the resources that we have available. And there's a ton. There's a ton of self-paced resources that are available on that website. We can also be reached, the team, at info@meetcharlescounty.com, which is another way. Participating in our virtual quarterly business roundtables, which are just an hour of your time, but I can promise you are jam-packed with really good information.
And I have to give a special shout out that I try to go to every one of them, and they're great. Your team does a really good job of giving me the information I need to know in a short amount of time. Absolutely. So thank you. I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. We're really proud of those. We realize businesses are busy,
right?
And they can't always take the time. So it's just a quick snippet of information. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, but totally worth it. We also do an annual economic development conference in November of every year, which focuses on a topic of interest to the business community. So we will have more information out about that, but we hope folks will be able to join us later in the fall for that information. We also have an e-newsletter as well as some social media platforms that you can join and follow us on. But most important, I want folks to know that we have an open door policy. And that's very important, including me. I love meeting with the local business community. We're located right in White Plains. I like to say we're in the Remax building, right there at where the train tracks are. So look for that. But also, if you want to give us a call at 301-885-1340. You can set up an appointment. If if that's better and you want to schedule it around what's best for you, give us a call, reach out. Again, open door policy in our department. We welcome any business owner to just come in and sit down and chat with us. We would love to find out more about their business, their employees, and how we can help. So thank you, Doria. I really enjoyed
Kelly,
this.
Thank you. And I think we've got some great things we're gonna dive into for future topics. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for talking to us about economic development and getting people excited about what y'all do and how they can use your services.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that if you enjoyed this episode, you will also go back and listen to some of our other Meet the Department episodes. And of course, we've got new ones coming out every month. Kelly Robertson-Slagle from our Economic Development Department, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Stay safe. Stay engaged. For more information on Charles County government, visit our website, www.charlescountymd.gov. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to the county's e-news. You can also get many alerts through the citizen notification system. Don't forget to watch CCG TV on Comcast Channel 95 or Verizon Fios 10. We're also streaming on Apple TV and Roku devices. Just search Charles County Government. You can get all of our great podcast content wherever you get your podcasts by searching Charles County Government. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.